Welcome to Spacevidcast, episode 6.05 for Saturday, February 16th, 2013. My name is Benjamin Higginbottom. Yeah, all right, so getting you guys up to date if you're watching this on demand. This is our second take of the show, and the first take, I actually called this like July, and then it derailed quickly from there. So this take will be far, far better. It's just another reason why you should definitely watch live and follow our Twitter account, because we're doing this one really late on Saturday. All right, let's go ahead and get started with some space news. Starting off, a meteor strike. Not really a strike. It exploded over the air. It was the equivalent of multiple nuclear bombs. And it was a massive explosion in Russia. There's actually some footage here. Check this out. Boom. Yeah, that's... You can hear the glass shattering. You can see a little bit of the damage in the... Yeah. Yeah.
All the car alarms?
Yeah, that's from, that's just from it basically flying in. What happens is it hits the atmosphere, and basically it's going so fast and so hard, it's like running face first into a brick wall. And so it goes boom! And I already forgot it again. Tunguska, there we go. I keep thinking Tanzania. Tunguska was the last event. Now that one was larger than this particular event, but this was the largest event in the last 100 years. So you would have been hard pressed not to see or hear about this on the media. Now that's not the only one that actually came into our atmosphere. We also have reports from, is it Cuba or Chile? One of the seas, and we've also got over here in California as well. We had another event. And so this is all kind of around asteroid 2012 DA14, which has an amazing name. And a lot of the astrophysicists are saying they're not related. I think that was when the one over Russia kind of came in first, and there wasn't any other event nearby.
Right. I'm
wondering with the other events if they are all unrelated, if they just happen to be all at the same time, or I think more likely some pull, some gravitational pull on the meteor may have broken a piece apart and had it come in. No?
No, they actually were completely from different directions.
Yes, but if you pull it apart and you could come into the Earth. Oh no, you've got that chart.
Yeah, one came in from like north-south, the other one came in east-west. The asteroid, I want to say, was north-south, and the meteorite came in east-west, and it happened to hit Russia. I mean, I guess it did hit Russia, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, it was a wonderful coincidence that they happened on the same day, but they're not actually related, which I guess is kind of nice to know, because everyone kept saying, NASA kept saying, this asteroid's not going to hit us, it's not going to hit us, it's not going to hit us. And then this huge thing comes across Russia, and everyone was like, oh my God!
But I think my point is it's not just Russia, and we seem to be forgetting about the other two. And maybe it just happens to be that the other two are related to 2012 DA14, and this one isn't. But it seems a weird coincidence that you'd have 3 plus a flyby all in the same 24 hours. And what you're referring to is asteroid 2012 DA14. It buzzed Earth, basically, right? It kind of came between our communication satellites and Earth, which is really, really close. I think
17,200 miles.
I think it was
close.
It was Neil deGrasse Tyson or Bill Nye who said it was basically 15 minutes away from hitting us. I don't know in which direction, but either it needed to arrive 15 minutes later, we needed 15 minutes earlier, but basically the timing was 15 minutes in some direction, and it would have hit us. That wouldn't have been a catastrophic event, but it would have been a very bad day.
Yeah.
When I say catastrophic, it wouldn't have been an extinction event.
Right.
It wouldn't have been like the dinosaurs dying off.
Right.
But it would not have been a good day either.
Close.
So that has been basically the news for the last couple of days, looking at all of the thousands injured, by the way, or over 1,000, not thousands plural, over 1,000 people injured. One thing to note, we were talking about this on a bus. When they say injured, that doesn't mean mortally wounded. It could just mean that glass came down and gashed their arm. Now, that sucks. That's not fun to do. But don't think that, like, people are hanging with limbs cut off.
Right. Yeah, we don't have, like, mass graves or anything to sort of worry about. And a lot of the glass shattering came from the sonic boom itself, as you saw in the video, with, car windows smashing and other building windows smashing. That was the flying glass that injured most people. So keep that in mind.
Now, one interesting little number that came out from Deep Space Industries, which is a company that we have talked about for the last few shows, they mentioned that there was approximately $195 billion worth of materials on the satellite that just flew by. Nearly $200 billion worth of materials. Now, those materials, they come to that number based on using those materials for space-based manufacturing. So there's quite a bit of water on there that you'd be able to use for multiple things, but also quite a bit of metals that you'd be able to use. Even if they knocked the price down, it was still, I want to say it was 35 billion. I don't remember the exact number, but it was still a very large number of what they would have actually been able to do. So, kind of shows the asteroid mining industry, if they were able to snag that on the way over, or at least send something up to start kind of mining it.
One thing to note, one of the reasons that we didn't know about this particular meteorite coming through was that because it was sort of so small in comparison, it really didn't show up on a lot of radar or enough to really spike it as an issue, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because a lot of people said, well, how on earth did we even miss this? And
we didn't. It wasn't on Earth. It was in space.
But you know what I'm saying? That, we had this other thing that was like 50 feet tall kind of thing hurtling through space at us, that this wee little item that came through, even though it made big, huge clouds and a nice little sonic boom, actually wasn't nearly as big. I mean, you guys saw the hole, I'm sure, that it created in the lake, a little bit bigger than this-ish, not as significant. And so that's kind of how we missed it to a certain extent. There's a lot of more stuff out there that's like this. As we've talked before about space junk, it's not a laughing matter. And any one of those things could do just as much damage, if not more.
All right, so why don't we do this? Now that we've done nothing but talk about meteorites for the last 10 minutes, let's take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk about the rest of space news, including an Antares hot fire, 2 launches, and an update on the Space Launch System.
Yay.
So, hey, you need to take us into break. I'm not used to doing it this way.
Oh, okay. Apparently I am taking people into break. We'll be right back after these messages.
After these messages.
This girl's a fascination, and nothing in her way will keep her from her destination. 'Cause she's fire walking, she's fire walking. When it's hot, she keeps on moving, through the heat keeps on improving. Yeah, she's fire walking to be free.
So many buttons to press. Now, welcome back.
You like the buttons.
I do like the buttons. They are fun. We'll show you more buttons in After Dark.
Yes.
So next up on our little schedule of space news that happened, LDCM, which is the Landsat Data Continuity Mission, launched. And why don't we, before we talk about what Landsat actually is, let's show you that launch coverage.
T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Have ignition and liftoff of the Atlas V rocket on the Landsat Data Continuity Mission, continuing the 40-year legacy of preserving Earth's natural resources from space.
So that's just a beautiful launch. This is going to turn into Landsat 8 once it's all said and done. Landsat is a series of satellites that are Earth observing, meaning they're pointed back at Earth, and we take a look at what's going on down here. And this is going to give us high-resolution imagery of Earth for different things.
But not weather.
But not weather. I
just want to be specific, because we talked about the weather satellites last week. And so this is it's slightly different.
Yeah, it's used for agriculture, education, business, science, and government. That's the quick, short version of that.
Right. If we need it for weather, we can use it that way, but...
I don't know how well we actually can.
A little bit.
Really?
Anyway. That launched from Vandenberg, which made me really happy, because California is getting some launching going on.
So there you go. Oh, I have to... More buttons.
More buttons.
So many more buttons. Take us into our next story.
The next story is the Progress 50P launch, which I always love when they kind of do that sort of thing of 50P and 50Q and 50R and all of those sort of naming. What am I trying to say?
Who wants to see a launch?
Yeah.
Here we go.
At the time of the launch, the International Space Station will be about 870 miles in front of, out to the northeast of the launch pad at an altitude of 250 statute miles.
I wonder how many logos we can get on the
Inside
page.
30 seconds to launch.
So as we wait, because I forgot to
We're
trim out the
standing by
front of
for
this.
engine start.
There we go.
And we have liftoff of the 50 Progress vehicle atop a Soyuz rocket on time at 8:41 and 46 seconds AM Central Standard Time.
So we'll keep watching this as we described. So the Progress 50P is an unmanned vehicle. It is a cargo spacecraft that's going up to the, well, went up to this International Space Station. This launched 3:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, February 11th. And then about 6 hours or so later, it actually docked with the International Space Station, which is kind of a big deal. That was a really short time from launch until docking that they were able to make that go. So that's actually really cool, kind of optimizing those launch dock times.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, more things we can do to kind of optimize some of those times, all of which involve kind of the operations of the space station and how to make that all go. So Progress 50P, unfun name, I guess, but there you go. Take us into our next one. Oh. So the J2X engine, this is the next generation engine that is going to go on the Space Launch System. This is, oh, I say next generation, but how do you really word that? This is based on historic Apollo engines, the J2 engine that was on the Saturn V rocket. This would be from the second stage. They had 5 of them. Now we'll only have, I believe, 1 of them on the Space Launch System. And they just performed another test, and I've got that test for you as well.
Engine tests are always fun.
Engine tests are fun. Here you go. Someone has a rain cloud going over them soon. So yeah, that's a Rocketdyne. That's essentially a Rocketdyne engine, and there's this chat room saying, "Yay, old tech!" And it's kind of like, well, new tech. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but proven tech.
Proven
that
technology.
Usually helps.
It is using modern technology, modern engineering practices, but kind of looking at the old Apollo engines, because those were epic engines. You know, just because they're older doesn't make them any less epic. So that's what that was. That was a 30-some-odd second test.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I don't think I have the actual duration. I want to say it was 35-second test. And this is just kind of, this happened on February 15th. And it's just kind of a continuation of the testing procedures for the J2X getting ready for the Space Launch System. And speaking of getting ready for the Space Launch System, how about some more parachute tests for Orion? Check this out. Boom. There's not really any audio, if I remember right. This is just kind of hey, watch it drop from an airplane. So here you go. There's the airplane, and
Well, bam.
well, bam. Now that's not actually what we're. All right. So this is on the right-hand side. You're going to see the drogues deploy, and then you're going to see the main chute deploy. Well, maybe not the main chute. Yeah, so basically, it was 25,000 feet. This was done in Arizona, and it was shows the test article coming out of the plane and then separating. And yeah, that was not very epic footage, was it? All right, well,
It sounded better.
it sounded. Pretend for a moment that was epic footage.
Sometimes food smells better than it tastes, like
Yeah.
coffee.
I think it was the last, for whatever reason, I think it was the last footage that looked a lot better, where they actually had the parachutes deploy. I think I might be remembering that one.
Probably.
Because they actually do. There is a shot where the chute's fully engaged, and yeah, there you go.
Anyway.
And last news story is the Antares rocket. That is the orbital sciences vehicle that will be going to the International Space Station hopefully sometime later this year. It was set for a hot fire, which is basically where you keep the rocket clamped to the pad. You fire the engines and see how it performs, make sure it works like you want it to, but you never release the rocket, so it stays on the ground.
So it's like a full length?
This particular one was not a full-length test. It was only a 30-second test, I want to say. Okay. But this was a test of their system. It was scheduled for late last week. It did not happen. They're hoping to have it up and running this week so that they'll perform that hot test. So I have been trying to find live streaming of the hot test. It sounds like they're not, a hot fire test. They're not going to stream it live from what I can tell. So we're just going to have to get the results after the fact. This last test aborted at like T-1 second. Yeah, those are the agonizing ones that bring you all the way down and then
nothing.
then nothing. So, but that's how test vehicles go. So hopefully they'll have better luck with that. And once they've got that tested out, a few more things that they need to do, but they should be able to do cargo delivery to the International Space Station. Orbital Sciences and SpaceX, two of the companies that won those COTS contracts to actually resupply the space station with badly needed stuff. So, all right, why don't we take a quick break, and when we come back, we don't really necessarily have comments from last week's show, but there were some things about the meteorite and what we can do. Should we be tracking this stuff? Should we be letting the government do it? Should private space do it? Should we be mining it?
Questions, comments, concerns, complaints.
All of that fun jazz. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, fun meteor stuff. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's talk about meteors and what the role of private versus government should be just for a moment, because I did get an email earlier today talking about how maybe private industry, much like SpaceX, is sending rockets up to the International Space Station. Soon, hopefully, we'll be sending humans to the space station. Someone in the chat room earlier mentioned that, talking about how we should be sending humans up, not just cargo. Baby steps, right? Maybe private industry should be taking care of looking for asteroids, helping alert people about asteroids, doing what they can to deflect asteroids, items like that. Now, an organization such as Planetary Resources, Deep Space Industries, they're going to hopefully go out and be able to mine these resources, and that will be awesome. But there's a difference between deflecting and mining.
Well, first you have to identify, right?
Yes,
so part of the strategy is to get the telescopes in the air, I was trying to say, but in space, to be able to seek and identify certain objects.
I don't think they have to be in space. The atmospheric disturbance is hard, but
it's going to help. The more you have, the better it's going to be, right?
Yeah, but it's going to be smaller in space, I guess is the point.
Yeah, I suppose. But, being able to identify which asteroids you can mine or are going to be dangerous, all of those sorts of things, that network is going to be quite helpful, even if the intention is to go mining on the asteroids. Just being able to go, hey, guys, we want to mine this one, but it's kind of coming straight at us. That's I think that's a valuable network to have just in general, whether that be for private industry or for government.
So they're saying in the chat room, right? ACREM says if private industries can mine them, then let them do it, and the government should just coordinate them. Okay, but what about something like today, where maybe you don't have enough time to go up and launch, and then mine it and deflect it and do what you need to do?
Right.
Whose responsibility is that? I actually saw in a forum someone complaining about why doesn't the U.S. have asteroid deflection technology yet? And this was a international forum. And my question is, why does the U.S. have to have this technology? Why can't the rest of the world develop this technology?
You think Russia would? They're the ones who keep getting bombed with this stuff.
Well, this time. So yeah. Why? Why does it have to be the U.S. government that does this? Why can't it be someone else? Can it be a worldwide endeavor, or is that just going to be a political nightmare? Or
well, it could, right? What if China or somebody else that the whole rest of the world doesn't trust as much is like, hey, it's cool, guys, we got this, totally asteroid deflection, no biggie. Then what? Then what do the rest of the other superpowers go? Yeah, but I don't trust you.
When all of
Is that
Earth,
weird?
I don't know. When all of Earth is doomed, well, all of life on Earth is doomed. Earth won't be doomed. If all of life on Earth is doomed, wouldn't we come together as a species? I'd like to think we'd come together as a species and put our bickering aside for a moment and go, yeah, let's go ahead and move that thing out of our way.
Yeah, when we're doomed, but isn't it too late at that point?
It depends on
How do we determine when we're doomed? When it's hit rounding Jupiter?
Well,
aren't we SOL?
Well, it depends on when you detect it.
Right.
So it completely depends on detection.
Okay.
All right. I mean, if you have several years' notice, or sometimes we hit these. You'll hit a meteor, and it's going to go through a specific keyhole around Earth, and it's going to miss you on its first take. But you can watch it go around, and that the next time it comes back around, it will impact.
Okay, so like Asteroid DA14, right? Right, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, that's going to come back around, right? But is that one is it going to hit us next time it comes back? Is what I'm saying?
No.
So it's always going to hit.
But it could. Well, not necessarily always. But it could hit a specific keyhole that will cause it to hit us, and we can detect that in advance and with accuracy-ish.
Right. And I did misspeak earlier. I said that DA14 was 20 feet tall. This is about 50 meters tall. So I
got the number and the...
No, I think I said 50 feet.
Oh, 50.
I was reading then. So instead of 50 feet, 50 meters, which is quite significantly different.
So, point is, we can detect several years in advance. And if that happens and we know that it's going to be an extinction event, I think we would come together as a species to figure it out.
And in a couple of years, that's enough time?
That's a good question.
Awesome.
That's the problem we're at right now. Is
where's Bruce Willis when we need him?
What would it actually take? Because it's not like you can just go up and nuke it.
Right.
You either have to lightly push on it. You got to tug. There are options where you paint it. Some of the issues are that they're not just like one chunk of rock. It's little pieces everywhere. So even if you have an explosion, that's just going to make it go poof and just still do what it's going to do potentially, depending upon what's actually coming for you. So I mean, it's really hard to tell what it is. Even if you know 2 years in advance, you may not know exactly what its formation is.
Right.
But then B, how it's going to react to whatever we try to do. So yeah, it absolutely takes some time. And then the question becomes, like I asked earlier, is it the government's responsibility to do that, private industry's responsibility to do that, or everyone as
because humanity?
Humanity's, right? Should humanity be doing that? So I guess that's my main topic for this particular show. I know we did this show kind of awkwardly and very late in the day, but I wanted to ask the question. What do you guys think? Looking at what just happened in Russia and looking at this very close flyby that we just had, what should we be doing about space stuff coming towards Earth? Should it be the government? Should it be private industry? Should it be both? Should it be other? How do we take care of this so that it doesn't become an issue in the future? Because it's not if this is going to happen.
Right.
It's not if there will be an extinction level event.
Right.
It's when it's going to happen. It has happened before. It will happen again. It happens to other planets right now. Not that there's an extinction event, because, you know, not necessarily life there, but bombarded with giant pieces of space stuff, right? Mm-hmm. That giant piece bombards Earth. Not such a great day for us. So on that note, I'd like to thank everyone so much for watching. Tune in next week for episode 6.06. Hopefully we will have the Google Lunar X Prize guys here for that, and we can get a quick update on the Google Lunar X Prize teams, what's going on, how the competition is going, and your particular questions. Make sure if you have any questions for the GLXP guys, leave it in our chat room at spacevidcast.com. I'm sorry, not the chat room, the comments for this episode at spacevidcast.com, or of course on our YouTube channel. And if you like, we've got Epic After Dark coming up after this. This is truly will actually be dark out this time. Yay! I know, it makes sense now.
And I want to talk a little bit about how and or why we have so much footage. It's not really space related necessarily, but we do have a significant amount of footage of this particular meteorite breaking up in Russia's atmosphere, or the atmosphere over Russia. I just want to comment on that really quickly.
So we're going to do that in After Dark as well?
Yes, we are.
Other things we're going to talk about in After Dark.
Hey.
And if you're watching live, just stay tuned. After Dark is up next. Otherwise, if you'd like to watch this After Dark episode, sign up for Spacevidcast Epic. Go to spacevidcast.com/epic. Your subscription helps us produce this show week after week. It's as little as $8.33 per month if you order it in a year in advance, which is $100 per year. Or it's $10 per month if you want to just do month after month, and you, of course, can cancel at any time. In addition to helping us produce the show, we give you awesome content like Spacevidcast Epic, extended interviews, content, stuff like that. So I'd like to thank everyone so much for watching, and there will be no close this week, but we'll see you next week.